In this episode, we're going to be working on a mob farm to finally get me some XP that I've been desperately needing to enchant all my tools and armor properly. Now, as some of you know from the last episode, I wasn't able to quite finish off parts of the tree farm, but since then I've managed to get most of it done. As you can see, we've got all our factory gauges here with all the different types of wood. And like before, I keep hold of a certain amount of planks and a certain amount of stripped logs, just so then I can pull it out of our sheep over here, who has all the wood inside of them, and I place down this frog to export that wood out as well. I also worked on getting our last two actual tree farms in. We've got our pale oak in, as well as our mangrove trees. Now, this area is a little bit less finished, especially as I was waiting for a lot of these mangrove trees to grow, but as you can see, we do have some paths now going properly between all the different tree farms, and this particular path I have extended down over towards this water because I'm thinking of actually placing our new mob farm over here, where there's this like nice kind of cut into the land, and then have a bridge going straight over towards the new path. But before we do that, however, I would like to name our cow and frog in our storage warehouse. But I think my favorite names that were suggested were by Hook for a Handicraft, who said, could do with a steampunk theme and named the frog Nicola and the cow Edison. And I honestly love that idea. So let's do that real quick. There we go. We have Nicola for the frog and Edison for our cow once I take them off the actual seat. And there we go. Make sure to place them back as well. Thank you for those suggestions. We're also going to need a name for this new sheep over here as well. Please feel free to leave in the comments some name ideas. Now, one other thing I noticed in the last episode when I was running around is that poor Bo over here was actually... Oh, you hear me? Was actually infected by a zombie, which is, to be fair, entirely my fault. I kind of just left him out on the open, but I think we should try and heal him. Luckily, I already have all the things that I need. We just need to craft ourselves up a fermented spider eye. If we just place down our brewing stand here, and I believe we just got to throw in some gunpowder to begin with. Now that we have our splash potions, I believe we just got to throw in a fermented spider eye. There we go, we got 3 of those. And now I'm kind of hoping it just works while he's staying seated, so let's give that a try. And there we go, he's back to his old usual self. And because obviously we healed him, his stuff is now way cheaper, so I'm probably going to take advantage of that real quick. And there we go, I managed to grab ourselves 4 mending books, and hopefully that will do for now. What I'm also going to do with Bo is to make sure he doesn't get infected again, I'm going to bring him inside and just place him down over here for now, just so that he's safe. I think once we build our new XP farm, he'll probably end up sitting in that building instead. Okay, now for this new building, we're going to have to clear up some land over here. There's quite a few trees here and a bit of elevation change, and I would like to flatten it out. Okay there, that should hopefully be enough space. Now I will say with this building, I was in creative mode trying to figure out kind of the idea of the building that I wanted, and then I proceeded to just build the entire thing in creative anyway. So what we're going to actually do is we're going to make ourselves a schematic cannon, which is relatively easy to make. And we're also going to need a schematic table, as well as a schematic itself. Luckily for us, we have some of these blue orchids, which I can just throw into these grindstones over here to get ourselves some light blue dye. And there's our schematic. And then if we just place our cannon down along with schematic table, we can then throw in a schematic, pick the schematic that we need, and if I upload this, get our schematic out, and then with a little bit of positioning, you can see our building. Of course, it's the wrong way around at the moment, so let me fix that. And I think I want it round about here. Now I realize I haven't actually dug up enough of this land, so let me fix that real quick. There we go, all fixed. And I definitely left enough room back here, so that's good. But once the building is actually in, we can landscape the sides around a little bit better. But yeah, if we confirm that positioning, and if we throw this into our schematic cannon, And if we grab a clipboard and place it into here, get a nice material checklist. There's about 4 pages of the stuff. I don't know why it says yellow paper soul lantern. I don't remember placing any of those, so I think we'll just ignore that. But I think we need to go and grab pretty much everything else. Luckily for me, I had already built this thing so I can grab all the wood from here. And there we go. I've got a backpack full of stuff. I think this should be mostly everything. I place it down next to the cannon and then put the material checklist in again. We'll see that I'm missing just a couple of things. And there we go. I placed everything inside. I realized with the stripped spruce log, or wood rather, I accidentally used the wood variant rather than the log, so I had to just quickly make those, but not too much of a worry. And then we're just going to ignore these yellow paper soul lanterns. And if we double make sure that our schematic is in the right spot, as it seems to be, we can place that back in. Check our printer settings, replace solid with any, skip missing blocks, protect block entities, throw in our gunpowder, and then we just hit the play button. And off it goes with the floor. But let's switch to time-lapse mode. There we go, there is the built product. I'm going to open up these fluid containers on each side so we can see inside of them, because we're going to be holding some liquid XP in them. And then I do have some empty spots here as well, because I want to place some of those XP blocks just to kind of denote that this is the mob farm. I also kind of made these little fake grinding stones. I think they look actually really cute. And of course, it is mirrored on the other side as well. And then this is pretty much our inside. We're going to be having 2 kind of spawning areas on each side with some conveyor belts and some rushing wheels in the middle, as well as all of our other mob farm tech that we need to do. Okay, so let's grab our crushing wheels, and also putting all the stuff I need into a backpack rather than having to juggle it in my inventory is quite nice. But we're going to start with our crushing wheels, I think at probably about this level. Actually, no, we're going to put that one above, and then we're going to have it go all the way along to here, because I believe when things are spawning, they spawn 4 things around them. So I've made this 9 blocks wide, and I've left a bit of a gap over here so we can actually connect these things up. So if we grab our gearboxes, throw on our shaft, I think we're going to bring the power from underneath here. And that's as simple as using some chain drives. Come all the way down into there. And then for the belts themselves, we're going to need to place these all the way along on both sides, as well as, of course, placing these closer to the belts themselves. We actually grab our belts and, of course, connect these up. Push it just one more forward just to make sure that they're actually going into the center. There we go. And then we need to repeat that on the other side. Although I do need to actually bring up power to it. So probably just use a gearbox and our chain drives again, just to make sure that the rotation is reversed in the way that we want it. And then of course, using our belts once again to come over and then just extending it a little bit to make sure it goes into the center. Honestly, the nice thing about crushing wheels is that it doesn't seem to really matter too much how fast they're going. They'll do the same amount of damage. So I won't need too much power to rotate all these crushing wheels. Okay, and then we need to make sure we actually have a belt going all the way across. Make it one short here so that we can add a chute. Chute can drop it down to a separate belt over here. And I'll probably have a chute underneath to actually take out all the items, such as the bones and stuff, into storage below. But over here, I want to have like a little grinding setup using the enchantment industry stuff. So if I place down an item drain here, place a mechanical grindstone inside of it, and then another one on top, then using a mess of gearboxes, make sure these are hooked up, Actually, I'm going to need a gearbox on this side as well for a pump. And then we can use our encased chain drives around the back. Then hopefully, I think if I just place a gearbox also up here, sure that's the right way round. I think that should also put that belt in the right direction. In fact, actually, let's grab our water wheels and quickly place those in just to make sure that everything is going in the right direction. Okay, there we go. Although it might help to actually connect up the bottom belt as well. There we go. Okay, seems to all be mostly moving in the right direction except for this belt. So if we throw in another gearbox into here, then it should all be working well. So yeah, any items that comes through these crushing wheels will come along this belt, drop down onto this belt, and I'll have any items get pushed down into some kind of storage underneath. And all the XP over here should be turned into liquid XP, although I think I've got this the wrong way around. It might depend on where I'm standing where this goes. Yeah, there we go. Because one side is where the gearbox goes into and the other side is pipes. Now, we've got to put that liquid XP somewhere, so if we break some of the wood up here, you can see there's kind of a way all the way up to this tank up here. And actually, you know what? I'm going to turn off this power before I get killed by the crushing wheels. And I don't want that right now. We bring the pipe down from up here. We'll throw in a mechanical pump there and then bring it around. We can then also use our andesite casing on these fluid pipes because luckily we do have crate encased, which means we can use any encasing we like. And I'm going to do it up here as well, just to make sure that any kind of mobs coming along don't get stuck on it. Let's make sure we don't forget to turn this around and place our cog on here so we can actually power that pump. Now I will say I am going to place down a kind of temporary setup with a barrel here because I want to actually grab any XP going by first before it goes into the liquid XP container, because like I said, I want to create some XP blocks to sit on the outside here, so I'm going to need them in physical form to do that, so leave that there for now. And then let's dig a little bit underneath. I'm going to want to place a nice big item vault underneath here, and I'm probably just going to make one massive one just to hold on to anything that comes out of our mobs. Okay, there we go, and I do want to bring up some items from the item vault so I can actually access them up here. So we're going to have to use our usual packages setup with a belt going along. But actually I just realized I probably need to raise this up by one, have a brass belt funnel coming out of it, and then we are going to need to use a fan down here. And it's honestly going to be a little bit annoying to actually hook up. Perhaps we just use some chain drives, turn that around, and then do the same thing again. I think that way that should all be connected up. Then if we have some chutes going up here, as well as another brass funnel, even open up the glass so we can see things moving through. And I think on top, we can just place down a barrel and that should hold onto everything. But we are also going to need a stock ticker and a stock link, which we can make sure are connected up. Place that down here along with a seat. And now we need to go grab a mob from somewhere. And I have found a pig. So our pig can sit here. Oh my god, I love how the pigs sit. And there we go. That should give us access to the storage down there. And I think I want to make sure I actually use some andesite casing along all of the underneath here, because I'm not sure if light passes through. In fact, this would be a lot easier, I think, if I did it from up above. And there we go. There's all the underside done. And then we can also use it along here just to make this bit look a bit nicer, and up here as well. Now, the other bit I'd like to do is actually bring down stone pillar here. This is where our spawners are going to be, but to also place a redstone lamp with a redstone link on it. I think it will keep it simple and just make this frequency of just the 2 redstone lamps and set to receive. We'll make sure we do that on both sides. In fact, actually, let's use the torch as the frequencies. But this way, this should mean that we can place a different redstone link down here, perhaps above here, place our 2 torches in and a lever. So then when I switch this on, both of the redstone lamps turn on, and that should mean that I should be able to essentially turn this mob farm on and off as I wish. And actually I'm going to quickly place some stripped dark oak logs there just to make sure that none of the mobs get stuck. And then I do actually need a way out of here myself. I think I'm going to make a temporary hole over here just to enter and access. Yeah, there we go, all moving in the right direction. Now, I do have one mob spawner, and I found this quite early on in the series. It's just a skeleton spawner. And if I bring this up in here and place it here, that shouldn't activate because there's too many lights in here right now, especially with the redstone lamp right next to it. Although, if I start removing some of these lights, hopefully in theory those shouldn't spawn. So now when I turn this on, we can hear some skeletons spawn. They should be moving along the conveyor belts towards here. They died. That one dropped some EXP, so that's good. EXP should go into there, and everything else should be going underneath. And there we go, perfect. Now, one spawner is, quite frankly, not enough, so we're gonna have to go find some more. We'll turn this off for now. Now, I am aware of where some spawners are. I did find a dungeon underneath pretty much where the current lumber mill is. I found it when I was just flying around in the caves underneath there, so I'll have to make my way back there. But I am probably gonna have to use the card assemblers to try and grab as many as possible, as grabbing them one by one at a time using my hands is probably not gonna be very easy to do. But let's get ourselves prepped for that, because I'm sure there's going to be a lot of skeletons. We'll grab our shield back and also some diamonds, because for some reason I have still yet to make a sword, or rather specifically a diamond sword. Let's head down here, because I believe this might be the way there. There's definitely plenty of other mobs around. Okay, and here we go. We definitely have some skeletons in here. I'm going to quickly place down a torch or a few, because here's one of them. I'm also going to quickly run over to these other spawners, try and make sure that they don't spawn. And we got a little bit lucky here. Oh god. I think we got a bit lucky here in respects of spawners, because it looks like most of them didn't really activate just yet. But we're going to have to try and fight these guys. And I don't know if there's any on the bottom floor. There's definitely some skeletons. Oh, I see one. Luckily for me, they're kind of just shooting each other, which is kind of hilarious. You can also check in here. We've got Sunch and Smite. I don't really care about those. I'll take the bones and the redstone though. Oh, we've got an infinity bow. That actually might be quite useful. Hellfire increases the damage of a flamethrower and place fire. Oh, wow. That's not one I was aware of. And digging, which is good for the drill. Might as well just take all of these. Why not? But okay, let's actually try and steal this. Probably gonna need to actually place a light down below. In fact, maybe we should place down more lights, because there's still a bunch of skeletons around. I'm fed up with them shooting at me. Ow. Because yeah, there's definitely a couple of spawners around still. Yes, shoot each other instead of me. Okay, I think I've got that under control now. So let's start stealing some of these. Luckily, it's pretty simple. We just got to place down a rail. I have to actually make myself some minecarts, because I did forget to do that before coming down here. But luckily, I did bring some iron with me. If we place down our cart assembler, a minecart, redstone torch, and then we should be able to just pick that up. There we go. And if we just do that with all the others as well. Okay, there we go. I managed to grab 4 of our spawners, and a bunch of, oh, hello, and a bunch of enchanted books and some other things from chests and whatnot. But let's escape here for now, as honestly, I would like to find maybe some zombie spawners as well. Interestingly, while trying to find my way out, I've been finding these kind of mine shafts, and there's this one that goes really high up, and I want to say that maybe this might go all the way to the surface, and it, oh my god, it does. We've come right out into a little cave system, right actually next to our mob farm. So, wow, that was actually very convenient. I might have to go down there at some other point to grab other things. I actually suddenly remember that I think I marked a zombie spawner over here at some point. I want to say that it was through these mine shafts. Yeah, here we go. I found this spawner at some other point. So let's grab this zombie spawner as well. Okay, I wasn't very successful in finding any more spawners, so we'll have to go and find them over time. But I did obviously get my 4 original skeleton spawners and that 1 zombie spawner. So, place these down here, then I can pick these up all individually, although I'm realizing I need to open up the wall again. And if we just place these in, I think we can probably fit about 4 maybe on each side. There we go. We have 6 spawners in. We got 4 skeleton ones over here, and then 1 skeleton and 1 zombie. I did find some spider dungeons, but I don't think it's gonna work with this particular contraption, as they're kind of like 1.5, 2 blocks wide, and so I don't think they would fit down here. Plus, I believe only zombies and skeletons with Enchantment Industry drop EXP. I don't think spiders can, although correct me if I'm wrong. But let's cover this back up. Now, hopefully when I just turn on this lever, get a bunch of spawns happening, a bunch of skeletons on the side. As they die, they'll drop onto the conveyor belt. See, those will go down underneath, and then we'll get some EXP coming along as well. Perfect. I may have to speed this up a little bit, less so for the actual crushing wheels and more for the belts themselves. Okay, I added a couple more water wheels just so I could speed it up a little bit, and hopefully that will help. I'm thinking that maybe once we actually get a proper power station in, we might be able to take advantage of that. But for now, I think this is perfectly reasonable. Even building up a nice amount of arrows, bones, and rotten flesh, and some nuggets of experience as well. Okay, now while I'm waiting for all this EXP to build up so we can actually place our experience blocks on the outside of this building, I think we should work on the bridge over this river here. But I think the first thing I'm going to do is actually fill in this area here, because the bridge is probably going to come right close to here and it's going to look a bit strange, I think, with the water on the side. So let's do that real quick. Okay, there we go. Just smoothed out that corner a little bit. Now I think I'm going to mostly use some stripped dark oak logs for this. We can probably start the structure around here. I think I'm just going to go straight across to begin with. Like so. Then just for a bit of structure, we'll come out here by like 4 blocks each time and repeat that on the other side. And because that's a pretty long bridge, I think we need to have some support in the middle as well. I think this is about the middle. And if we bring this all the way down, and then this kind of needs some structure as well. So something along these lines, maybe a little gap here just to place down a spruce fence perhaps. Then I think I'm also going to use these fences to go all the way up, as well as along a little bit, and bring this all the way over here. Of course, a wandering trader would spawn as I'm trying to do this. Do you have anything interesting? Not really. Can I pick him up? I can. Let me just place him further away. Are you just gonna walk straight back? Okay, well, I don't want them making noises in my ear, so I'm gonna just try and pick them all up and place them away over here. And hopefully the wandering trader will come to their llamas. Okay, I picked him back up again. Okay, no, he absolutely insists on going back over there. Okay, well, okay, I think interacting with him one more time and then placing him over here works. Okay, there we go. But back to what I was doing, let's also throw some spruce fences here. Yeah, I'm liking that so far. Now I've just got a mirror on the other side. I'm thinking we should also have some bits sticking out like this so it's not so flat. I think once every 3 or so blocks will work. And then maybe some buttons to go on those just to add a little bit of contrast. I think I'd like to use some more spruce stuff with these trapdoors going along in between the gaps, and maybe use some down here as well. And if we give this bridge some width to it, once again probably about 3 logs wide, and we can have a middle parting. Then if we just mirror what we have done on this side on the other. Now I think I would like to have some kind of pattern along here, and using these bits of logs that stick out to kind of follow a pattern, maybe kind of along these lines, and then using the spruce again to act as a contrast. There we go, I repeated it on the other side as well. Kind of like that aesthetic. Now I do need to break this up a bit more just so that it's not quite so flat, and I am going to want some supports for some kind of lanterns, I think. Perhaps once every 3 of these pillars. I think the lanterns we can probably just use 3 fence posts, and then using these trapdoors again, along with some lanterns underneath. And we can just repeat that for all the different ones. And then I think I want to use these stockade fences to fill in the gaps over here. And then I think to add a little bit of color on the sides, I'm going to throw one here and have some flowering azalea leaves above them. And that pop of green, I think, actually really helps prevent the bridge from looking too samey. Now, funny enough, I still think this area looks a little bit flat, and one kind of weird block that is definitely not meant to be used this way, but I think might look pretty good, are these dark oak curtain rods. I think they can kind of act as a little bit of a trim all along the side here, and then have some more fence in between, just to kind of separate the bridge into kind of two directional paths. Then to kind of just wrap up the main part of the bridge, I think we can place some more of these trapdoors on top of the logs. Now I just need to actually connect it to both sides. Probably have to do some landscaping over here. So I don't think I want to use stairs or anything. And there we go. There is the completed bridge with a path leading up to it, as well as the finished deck on this side. I've also made sure to block up underneath here with some of our pale oak planks, and I kind of did the same over here on this side as well. But yeah, overall, I am pretty happy about that. Okay, it's about a day later in real life, and I noticed that with my mob farm that I was having a little bit of issues with mobs spawning and getting stuck like in the middle, because they would have mobs coming in from one side and also the other and getting stuck in the center. So I did throw myself in a fan, which you can kind of see from here, which hopefully should mostly dislodge any of the mobs. A little bit further testing seems to prove that worked, but we'll see over time. Okay, now I think the next thing I want to do is actually build a very small kind of villager trader outpost here. We're going to be getting some EXP and stuff. It would be nice to also be able to grab some books to enchant my stuff with. So I'm going to build kind of small cubicles for each kind of villager. It doesn't have to be anything particularly complicated, just something simple like that. And then we can just like throw a little seat down and a lectern if it's going to be a librarian. And then I still want to keep these pretty nice and bright, so we'll just throw in some glass and then maybe make use of these pale oak trapdoors just to kind of cover up the rest. And I think for their own safety, we're going to obviously need probably a bit of extra glass up there. And then I'm gonna, I think, use some of these copycat slices to throw in some stripped oak logs here. Perhaps rotate those around just so they look like little mini ones. And that should mean that nothing should be able to get in. Although I am going to probably place some kind of gate or barrier here to prevent mobs and such getting in. And that's looking a bit plain at the moment, so let's kind of do a bit of a small roof design perhaps. And then we essentially just need to repeat this all the way along. Something along those lines, then we're going to just repeat that on the other side as well, I think. And there we go, we have it on both sides now, and I did leave this one open just so I can still move in between to where our stuff is. Now I'm probably going to also place a kind of gate in the front here. And I don't think it has to be anything complicated. And it would be nice if we can still kind of pass through still. So if we add a kind of bit over the top of the gate here, and then if we place these copycat panels down, I believe, can we pass through here? Yes. We can pass through here, but I believe zombies are going to be too tall for that. Then we just got to do that on the other side. Then I think I'm just going to repeat this kind of same design on the other side of the building. Hey, there we go. We've got all our villager raiding posts in. And now I think I should go and grab Bo. Come here, bud. Going to place him down. I think he should, yep, just interact with that. Pick him back up and put him in his seat. There we go. Bo is now in hopefully a much safer spot. Now, one thing I've kind of just realized is I haven't actually placed like an enchanting table set up. So perhaps I'll break down some of these cubicles just so we can have an enchantment table over here. But we won't do that this episode. Perhaps I'll do that in between episodes. But yeah, we're almost complete here. Now, have been building up some EXP over here, and I finally have some blocks of experience. So now, I can place all these EXP blocks in, And there we go. Now we can see those EXP blocks from really far away, and they shine up at night as well. I may have to change the little block that's in between them, but I'll think of some ideas for that. But yeah, overall, I'm pretty happy with this build. We now finally have some XP and other items coming in. We already have quite a lot of arrows and bows and stuff. I'm going to probably trade this rotten flesh away to a villager so we can make some emeralds. And I don't know what I'm gonna do with the arrows, probably just throw them away. But yes, thank you everyone for watching today. Hope you all enjoyed it. We also made it to over 200 subs this week. That happened a lot quicker than I was expecting, and I very much appreciate all the support that everyone's been giving me. But anyway, thanks once again, and I'll see you all hopefully next week. Bye bye for now.